everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sonographers in the Cities. I'm Lynn.
And I'm Giselle.
It is the last Friday of August. August is ending. I cannot believe it. Can you?
No, I can't. The time, it's flying.
It's like summer is ending. I'm kind of sad, but also excited because when fall comes, I'll be done with my program. And, fun things ahead. Just a quick, stats for our baby podcast here. We are almost at 12,000 downloads.
Wow, almost.
Almost.
Yay.
I think by next week we would be, because we're at 11,900. So.
Oh, wow. Thanks for listening.
Sure. Yes.
Thanks
Thank you so much for listening, for tuning into all of our episodes, especially the recent deep dive series that we've been doing, just going into different specialties. And, once a month, we answer all your questions. And so today is another episode of our Q&A questions. And we have a lot of questions. I don't think we can finish them.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, my throat. I just had a TEE done yesterday, but for those of you who follow me on Instagram, so my throat, just bear with me a little bit. Yeah, it's definitely, I remember seeing the email that said we get this email that says like how many downloads we get in a certain, like, I don't know if it's like every week, but it's like, it tells you how the podcast did. And it said, I don't remember if it was like 400 or 500 last week, but I'm pretty sure it was like one of the highest I've ever seen.
I think you get that email. I don't.
Oh, you don't?
This is so weird because Giselle gets like certain emails and I get certain emails.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just remember seeing it this past week and telling Sam, and I was like, oh my gosh, babe, like, look at the numbers. Like, I'm pretty sure this is like the most we've ever had. Like, I think it shows in a week. So that was really cool. And it just shows that you guys are still listening. And I mean, like Lynn and I say, there's always so much we can talk about in 30 minutes, but there's just a lot of different things we can talk about when it comes to ultrasound. And we just love talking about ultrasound. Why not do it together and with you guys? So we absolutely love doing this, and we appreciate you guys supporting the channel and the podcast, because we wouldn't be here really without you guys. So thank you very much. And Lynn's almost done. And I finished my MBA. So
yes, that's a big congratulations, Giselle. You got your master's, one step closer to where you want to be.
Yeah, thank you. It's with time going and moving, it's just been really exciting, and so many more things that are coming our way. I do get a lot of questions about the MBA. Everyone's like, what are you going to do with it? Or I didn't know you can like go into higher education. And I always tell them that Lynn and I support higher education, and we believe that it's good to have more opportunities and to have more doors open for you. So if that's something you're interested in, we'll definitely do an episode in the future. But I'm just excited for the rest of the episodes that we have up until November, because we still are doing a few more deep dives. We're going to be doing OBGYN and MFM specialties. Also talk about how to handle difficult and abnormal exams. So definitely stay tuned for those. We're excited. But yeah, we definitely have a lot of questions, and hopefully we answer some of yours that you asked today. Ready?
Shall we get started?
Yes. This first question said, did you ever feel like giving up while in lecture?
I feel like giving up is in giving up the program, or giving up.
Just probably like, did you ever feel like, like
demotivated? Is that?
You can say that's part of being in school, right? It's like, it's not going to be perfect.
I don't know. I think I might be taking this like too literal, like in lecture, because I'm imagining how lectures are and clinicals and labs, they're like separate for me. So should I take it that literal and say if you ever feel demotivated in lecture?
However you interpret.
Okay. Well, lectures, it depends on the professor, the instructor. If they're interesting, I love it. If they're not, I don't want to be there. Obviously, I get really bored. So there are days like that, I'd rather study by myself. teach myself the material if lecture is not so great.
Mm.
If I ever feel like giving up in general during the program and stuff, yes, there are times. And there are times I've checked out, which has happened a lot last quarter. And, it's just gotta push through. Like I
Yeah.
always said, it's like just look at the your end goal because you're in here for a reason, right? So just take it day by day, and then just pursue till you reach the end goal. And
Yeah.
that's what I did, or I'm
Yeah.
doing.
Yes. You're almost there. Look, you're pushing through.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah, the way that I kind of like when I read this question, school is not easy. And I think a lot of people feel like giving up. I think it's very common to feel that way with any program or any major or anything, even in prereqs. I felt like wanting to give up when I didn't know what I wanted to be, you know? So in general, I feel everyone feels like they want to give up at some point in their life.
Hmm.
So I could answer this question and say yes. I just can't like pinpoint a time in ultrasound lecture where I felt like giving up because at that point when I was in that stage, I was like, okay, I'm here. Like I finally made it. So I need to just like push through every single day and all I need to do is pass. I don't remember feeling like I wanted to give up in ultrasound school, but I do remember feeling like I wanted to give up like prior to that. So in anatomy, physiology, like all my prereqs in math, I had to retake multiple classes. And at that point, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really like, I don't think I'm gonna make it through. Like, do I need to like rethink my whole life right now? You know? But once you get there, like, if you're in your ultrasound lecture, like you're in there for a reason. You made it to your program. You are, you're doing the thing. So definitely just try to be positive about it, push through, like Lynn says, and know that feeling like giving up is not it's not a bad thing, and just that's just your body telling you, okay, I need to work a little bit harder. And sometimes that could be the sign for you to take a break too. So maybe
Definitely.
just kind of think of it that way. But know we're here for you, and know there's a community out there that feels the same exact way that you may feel right now. Like if you feel like giving up right now, message one of us, and we'll help you.
What's the difference between pediatric sonography and pediatric echo?
That's a good question. I think ultrasound in general is very confusing. So this is a good
Definitely.
question. Pediatric sonography, just like a term for just ultrasound that is done with kids. So pediatrics is usually from the ages of obviously 0 days. So someone who's just born, like a neonatal, like baby, and then all the way up to 8 or 17. And once you're 18, you're considered an adult. So from 0 to 17, that's pediatrics. And sonography obviously is ultrasound. So that's just like everything pediatric sonography, everything. Kids, ultrasound. And then when you talk about pediatric echo, that's pediatric, so 0 to 17. Hearts, so ultrasound hearts of kids. And I don't do pediatric echo because I don't do echo. Pediatric echo would be the echo department. Pediatric sonography is basically ultrasound of kids. So there's general pediatrics, which is what I do, and I do everything except for the heart. So that's kind of the difference for that. If you want to do pediatric echo, you're probably going to have to go to echo to and choose echo at an echo program, right? And if you want to do general, just like kids, pediatric sonography, that's not echo, you go to a general program. So you learn everything as an adult, scanning adults first, and then you do kids. People kind of ask me that, like, how do you become a pediatric sonographer? And you kind of have to just make sure you learn how to scan kids. Some hospitals do not scan pediatrics. So if you want to learn pediatrics, you have to go to a pediatric hospital or a facility that actually scans kids because a lot of times you have to have a pediatric radiologist, and they don't usually do pediatrics unless there's a pediatric radiologist or someone who's comfortable with reading children's images because it's a whole different world than adults. There's different exams too. Like there's exams we do on kids that we don't do on adults, and it's that's the difference. I don't know. Do you do kids?
I have not.
Yeah.
I was had like a small exposure to it, like pedo echo, pediatric
Mm.
echo, and obviously I'm learning adult echo. And I know that with echoes alone, amongst adult, pediatric, and fetal, like the views are different.
Mm-hmm.
Windows are different too. So I mean, mostly the views are different. So it's very
Yeah.
different amongst itself.
Yep.
So it's super
Yep.
complicated.
Yeah. Complicated, different. So if you want to do
Mhm.
kids, if you want to scan kids, make sure you try to work or train in a pediatric hospital. Um, some of our outpatient places out here in Vegas do pediatrics, but a lot of them will refer them to an actual pediatric specific place. So yeah, you have to get experience in that and train in that, and not everyone does. So yeah.
Yep.
Okay, next question. This one we get asked a lot of SPI questions, but they said, should I take SPI before or after clinicals? Sure.
Took mine during clinicals
During,
because I
yeah,
had 2 quarters of clinicals and then
left.
took my SBIs and then 2 quarters of clinicals after.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's, every curriculum is different.
Mm-hmm.
And my curriculum just makes me took mine during my clinicals. And it all depends on like how or when you finish the physics class, when you finish the
Mm-hmm.
SBI class, because I don't know, it's like it depends on your curriculum and also
Mm-hmm.
depends on personal preference if you want to take it when you feel that you're ready.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you feel like you're ready before clinicals, take it.
Do it.
If you feel like you're not ready yet and you want some time, take it after clinicals. But then remember that once you do clinicals, you're probably going to be really busy, and I'm not sure how much time you're going to have to study. A lot of times I've seen people who, for example, in my program, our clinicals are 5 days a week. Like, where are you going to study in that time because you're going to be so tired? But if you have clinicals that are like 3 times a week or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you have time to study, then okay. Like, if you want to wait, see if you can understand physics a little bit better because you're actually scanning. I took SPI before and after clinicals, and I'll say that I preferred it after because I understood physics a lot better after clinicals. But that was just me. So if you're ready to take it before, go ahead. If you want to wait till after and you have time to study, do
It's up to you.
that.
You just got to know yourself.
Yep.
And obviously, how the curriculum is and the program is. How can you get hired quickly? And any tips for interviews? We did an episode on this.
Yes.
It was episode 29.
29. Wow. And
How to
today,
prepare for clinicals and job landing.
can't believe that was a while ago. Today we're on episode like 40 something.
Yes.
48. So yeah, go back to some of our old episodes if you want. We do talk about specific things for the whole entire episode. So definitely we can talk a little bit about it real quick, but the most important thing when you are about to try to get a job and you want to get hired, quote unquote, quickly, you should try to get a job at your clinical site. And I think that's your best way and best bet to get hired quickly. Now, if you're trying to work somewhere else, I think you have to have a connection or a network or someone that's like, hey, I know this person. Can we hire them? And you get a good word in for you. So I think networking and talking to other people. I'll tell you how many of the people that I've seen in the last 2 years who were students who became sonographers and who are now saying, hey, do you want a job? Anyone want a job? We're hiring. Like their job is hiring. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all these students or prior students. And now they're workers and now they're looking for more workers. Like, and I know all of them. And so if I wanted to work somewhere in Texas or if I wanted to work somewhere in like North Carolina, Chicago, wherever, I could literally just be like, hey, I'm planning on moving out to Chicago. You got a job opportunity for me? And then I think that's how quick it can happen. If you know someone, if you have connections, and obviously you have to, for your interviews, just be yourself and show your passion, show your experiences, show that you're willing to work. And I think people really need people right now.
And what's a good resource for looking for jobs in different locations, not in your, if you're looking to move and all that stuff. Um, Giselle's Discord group
Mm-hmm.
community, as well as her Facebook, because
Yeah.
I constantly see people posting job openings in their area and other areas.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
hit Giselle up for access.
Yes, you can message me or one of our moderators. So it's actually really cool because our community, they're very much so like we're all good friends. We talk all the time. We help each other out. If you have a question, they'll answer. We support each other and we have job listings on there. And if I ever see anything on Facebook, like I'll post it in there. And there's just so much opportunity out there. So, how can you get hired quickly? You have to just be consistent. You have to know someone. You have to definitely stand out in an interview and prove to them that you are someone they're looking for. And I think that's the most important thing is to network and make sure you stand out in the interview because that's how you get a job quickly. Everyone's hiring right now. It's a very, I think, hot field because everyone is in dire need for sonographers. A lot of people are looking for people who want to work. So all you gotta do is really prove that you're capable and that you want to work, and hopefully you can get a job quickly.
Very well said. What are the top 5 most common exams you perform on a daily basis?
Well, I think like is that easy for you if you were an echo person? How many
For
exams
echo,
do
it's
you guys do?
just one.
Well,
The same protocol, and
you do your echo,
yeah.
and then there's the other kinds. But I don't, is there 5 different exams for echo techs? Like, no. Like TEE, probably one of them.
TE,
Bubble study, is that
but that's
different?
that's more like specialized.
Oh, is it?
Because echo is just like routines, and if there's any pathologies, you investigate.
Okay.
But obviously you evaluate everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like vascular where you can just specifically do like insufficiency or just arteries and veins. And
What's the 5 most common exams for vascular?
carotids is one.
Mm-hmm.
DVT is two.
Mm-hmm.
Renals is three.
Yeah,
Lower arterial. How many is that?
that's 4.
That's four. What's
Arms?
five?
They're not as common for you guys?
Arms is arms most common is fistulas.
Oh, mm-hmm.
So like evaluating fistulas, and the other one is pseudoaneurysm check.
I always forget about pseudoaneurysms because I barely get them, but yes.
At my
I feel like
site, we did
I get a
at
lot.
least one every day.
Oh wow. Oh my
But
gosh. Well,
I
that
I've
makes
never
sense.
seen a positive, so
Oh, I see lots
yeah.
of positives. A majority of the time when they order them, they're pretty positive.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, geez, guys.
I think for the site that I was at, they request pseudoaneurysm check like for every patient.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
just
You want to
like
check,
to check. Yeah.
make sure before they go home or something.
Hmm.
For me as a general sonographer, obviously I scan everything, right? So top 5 things I'll probably say is are orders that they order all the time, which are like obviously abdomen for vomiting or abdominal pain. They always want to check the gallbladder or the kidneys. Number 2 would be DVT studies in the legs, because literally everyone has pain or swelling in the legs. Number 3 would be, I think, probably pelvics, because a lot of people come to the ER for vaginal bleeding. Number 4 would be pregnancies, because also a lot of people come to the ER because they're bleeding and pregnant, or they're having pain and pregnant, or they just want to see the baby, which is not a
Really?
valid reason. Yeah, not a
They
valid
do
reason.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Just like, hey, I'm pregnant, walking to the ER, can you scan me? That's what.
A lot of people do that because like they can't get into their OBGYN right away.
Oh.
But you have to have a valid reason to get an ultrasound in the ER. So it has to be like vaginal bleeding or pain. So a lot of times they're
So
like,
would
oh,
they get turned away if they don't have any like symptoms or
but that's why they
indications?
just say there are, you know.
Oh,
That's what you'll see memes in the or videos on Instagram or social media that are like, you
interesting.
just came to the ER to see your baby, and or posts where people get mad because that's not an emergent situation.
Hmm.
but that happens all the time. So,
I
it's kind of
see.
like I wouldn't say it's a waste of an exam. We get paid whether we do the
Mm-hmm.
exam or not, but it's just something that we see all the time happen in the ER. And sometimes it frustrates sonographers because they're like, there's like a very, very stat ultrasound that needs to be done, but then someone's here to just see their baby with no
Yeah.
symptoms or whatever. So, but that's very, very common. And I think the fifth one would probably be,
No renals? I'm surprised. Or
well,
is renal
I
part
kind of
of
I kind
abdomen?
of combine that with abdomen
Okay.
because, but we don't get a lot of stat renals, like, because they're not stat. Like
Yeah.
renals usually are not stat. They're not considered stat. But I kind of combined it with abdomen because of flank pain and kidney stones. So
Yeah.
pain. I think the last one would probably be carotids because a lot of people fall or pre-op carotids are stat too. So I'm thinking about common exams on a daily basis. These are stats in the ER that happen and they order all the time. It's like at night there's like all pelvics and all
Oh
pregnancies
my
and then
gosh.
abdomens and legs. So yeah. We literally scan everything. As far as like general goes too, on a daily basis, you scan everything every day, especially if you're at a
Yeah.
busy hospital. But I've heard of some places that aren't as busy, so they don't see them as often. But we get a lot. Pediatrics, though, I think one of the common ones are appendix intussusception.
Mm.
Those are very common because kiddos always have constipation or pain, and they'll always be like, "Well, is it the appendix or is it the bowel? Is something in the belly obstructed?" So those are very common in pediatrics.
That's very cool.
So we have way more variety, I think, than Echo, but Echo stays really busy.
But
But I
it's
had
complicated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're literally like the heart is a complicated organ in itself. Just be prepared to scan anything.
Last question. How do you stay positive if you've got a bad clinical site? Oh my gosh.
Have you ever had a bad clinical site? Well, I don't know. You're still student. I don't know if you want to say.
I would say I've had not so great clinical sites. How do I stay positive? Like I said earlier, this episode is just push through one day at a time. That's it.
Yeah.
I just look at my end goal.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, that's something you can't really control unless you can ask for a new clinical site. And they always
I
say,
would say stand up for yourself
yeah.
and, get valid reasons, ask for clinical, request for different clinical sites or anything that you can, because I did that. But
Yeah, I actually had somebody in
you never know.
Discord recently who said they have their site is a little bit difficult. There's a bunch of them at one site. It's not very busy, so they don't get a lot of scanning time. And it's honestly very difficult to learn if you don't have scanning time and if you don't practice. Because this field is a hands-on learning field. You need to be able to scan, scan, scan. You won't pick up skills if you just scan one and then I don't know, in a few hours, scan another one. You have to constantly be holding the probe, scanning, learning, tweaking. Every patient is different. So, if you have a bad clinical site, you have to try your best to put the initiative in there and ask who's ever there if you can scan. If there's anything you can do, tell them that you really want to learn and obviously keep your head up. If you're there the whole entire time, I would ask your school and bring it up to them if you can. If there's any way you can get a different site, if there's absolutely no way that you can, just really try your best to get that scanning time in. Um, and connect with others in the community, like I said, because we can help you get through that and talk about it, give you ideas, and just push through. I know it's hard, but that's so unfortunate, I feel like, because I think clinical sites should understand that it's important. We want to make sure that we have good sonographers in the future, and we want to make sure that there's enough experience behind a new grad to get a job. And it's very defeating if you don't feel that way when you're about to graduate. But it's very few and far between where I see people complain about their clinical sites. But if you are unfortunate and have one of those, definitely try to bring it up to your school, whoever is there.
I totally agree with what yourself said, and that's what I did for my previous clinical site as well. Just be open, just have that open communication with the clinical director or your program director, and try your best to advocate for yourself and see if they can put you in a different place. And if they can't, which is what my situation was, you just have to power through.
Yeah. I hope that it's like someone or somewhere that where you can rotate during clinicals. Like for me, I actually was at one place the whole entire time. So, but I have noticed in my program that some people had to move clinical sites, and my director did everything she could to move people around if they needed to.
Yeah.
So if you need to, they will help you. Just gotta stand up for yourself, especially you're paying for your school and you're paying for this. So you need to bring it up and see if you can get the experience that you deserve. And make sure you talk to the clinical site too, like if you're able to, because I know some situations are difficult. But yeah, stay positive. I know it's hard. But there's a lot of jobs out there, so we need you guys. We need you. And I think that would be
definitely. Yeah, I think that wraps up. We have a couple more questions, so we'll continue these questions for September Q&A. And that will wrap up for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, listening. If you are watching this on Giselle's channel on YouTube, don't forget to comment, subscribe, and like the video. And if you're listening this on any podcast channel, please hit the subscribe button and rate us. Leave a review if you can. I've seen some of you have added or wrote your reviews or rate us, and I just want to say thank you so much, because we do read it, we do see it, and we wouldn't be here without you.
Yes, you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in September
next week.
Yes. All right.
For another deep dive.
For those of you who are just starting school or are trying to get into school, good luck. And
oh yes, it is the
hard.
beginning of the fall quarter. Yes.
Starting
Good luck
a whole
to
new round. I'm getting a lot of messages.
Yes.
So
the new academic year. We can do this.
Yes, we can. And stay tuned for more episodes. We got a lot coming your way. So we'll see you guys in the next one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.